is it possible that
I influenced her to try and get me for $20,000 a month for a 2-year-old? No.
Is it yeah.
No. We never spent $20,000 on my daughter when we were together.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the money.
Yeah, but
I don't like, who spends that kind of money on a kid?
Mm-hmm.
She was 1 when she took my baby from me. We never spent $20,000 a month on our child, and the credit card was wide open.
who's the deadbeat?
Look, obviously, I don't want to be the guy and ever speak about a partner in a negative way, regardless of what goes on. I always want to maintain respect because someday my child may see this. I have to say that she is, because I don't understand what woman in their right mind, regardless if the relationship doesn't work out, you have a man that's standing in front of you saying, let me see my daughter. Give me the opportunity to take care of my daughter. I will pay all her medical bills, school fees, whatever. Just bring her to me. Let me get her 3 days a week. No, 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 no.
Okay, so how long have you been alienated from your kid?
So it was happening for about a year and a half, almost 2. And then I decided, I said, I'm not dealing with this anymore. So I took her to court and I filed for joint custody. In some way down the line, I still don't know how this even happened, but I ended up losing the case. I moved out. I walked into the house and I moved out. I packed my own things and I left because at some point we had got into a verbal argument. She called my mother a bitch. Even then, it was worse. I couldn't see the kid. She wouldn't allow me to see her. So I just got tired of the back and forth, and that's why I took her to court. And I ended up still losing. Because she then got in there, she cried wolf, saying that I'm this and I'm that, and I used to abuse her, and I used to beat on her and all this stuff. And quickly it went from me being able to see my daughter to me having a restraining order filed on me for being this super dangerous guy.
Okay, so we obviously don't have the full backstory of everything that went down between this couple, but let's be clear. A restraining order was granted. That means the court saw enough credible evidence to justify legal protection. That's not something they hand out lightly. Let's continue.
And then I haven't seen my daughter since. At some point, she would probably make up a story of me trying to harm my daughter or trying to do something more, because that's how it got to. It was like she was just pulling things out of her ass just to say. And so I felt scared to even deal with it. So I ended up just stepping back and waiving my rights because I felt the need to protect my child from salacious misinformation that may be fed to her about who and how I am.
Just make sure I got this straight. He's voluntarily giving you $1,000 a month for child support, correct?
That's correct.
He has the children, you said Sunday through Wednesday?
Yes,
Which means you have them Wednesday through Sunday.
that's correct.
Who pays health insurance?
I do, Your Honor.
How much is health insurance?
It's roughly $309 a month.
Everything that I just repeated back to you is accurate, right?
He has money. He's spending on other
That wasn't
women.
my question. Everything that I just repeated back to you is accurate, right?
Pretty much.
So I'm confused as to why you're here. Are you trying to put him on
I want to put him on
You
child
want to
support.
put him on child support
Yes,
for
ma'am.
the $1,000, or are you trying to put him on child support for something more?
Something more, yes.
Well, before I move over to him, what do you do for a living?
I'm a teacher.
All right, how much money you make?
I make about 60,000.
All right, do you have access to private health insurance for the children?
Yes, I do, but I'm a teacher. I don't have that extra. That's why the father should help out with that.
He does. He pays health insurance.
Yes.
He just said he pays $309.
Yes.
So you can't say he needs to help out with that because he's already doing
Okay,
it.
you're right, Your Honor. Okay.
Okay, all right. Now, sir, what do you do for a living?
I'm a truck driver.
Truck driver. How much money do you make?
I make roughly maybe 82 a year.
All right.
Okay.
Now, help me make sense of this. You give her $1,000 a month for the children. You pay health insurance. You all have a split schedule.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm missing something. Like, what is the issue? Why are we here? Because I would think that you bring someone to child support court if they're not doing something. I do understand making it legal, putting it in a document, but you're asking for more money. So I'm trying to get the disconnect here.
Excuse me, Your Honor, if I may. It's the same disconnect that it always is. But we'll let the father tell you exactly what it is.
Because
So
like
what
I
it
said, he
is,
has
Your
other
Honor,
women he's spending money on.
she never lets me talk. So
Okay, I'm gonna let you talk.
Exactly.
Okay.
what it is, Your Honor, she didn't mention this, but she's engaged.
Wow.
And she just found out that I'm recently dating, so now she's mad at me.
Oh, I'm mad.
There
I'm
goes
mad.
the
Very
I'm
mad.
conflict.
not mad. I'm not mad.
There goes the conflict.
I'm
Now
not
I
mad.
asked what was the disconnect here. It was something missing. So you brought him to court because he has a new girlfriend
No, ma'am. I'm not
That's
mad
exactly
about
why, Your Honor.
and you're engaged.
Yes, ma'am.
He's still gonna want to marry you after he see what you're doing to this man. You have a whole nother man that you should be worried about, and you over
understand
here
that.
all in his business.
I'm not trying to be.
And he doesn't even
You
work
are
there.
trying to be in his business
You-
because you have mentioned it twice that he has other women. His
Yes.
other women has nothing to do with this
It-
case.
it
So
really
you can
does,
pipe
Your Honor.
down
It really
and stop
does.
bringing that up. It has nothing to do with
Okay.
it. Well, let
It
me
really
say it
does.
like this. It is not going to have an impact on my decision today.
And now for the verdict.
This is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to order anybody to pay child support. What I'm going to do is that you testified to this. You said tuition was $1,000.
Yes.
$500 per child. So you know what? You're going to pay $500
Wow.
and he's going to pay
Judge.
$500 directly to the school.
That's not. That's
That
see, you
is
make
right.
more money than I do, and you had.
And you're going to keep maintaining the health insurance, okay? Now,
Thank
if you
you.
decide to get private health insurance on your own through your employer, you're obviously, you can do that. The children can be double insured. But
True.
I'm not going to have him pay more than $1,000 or even continue paying
Honor.
$1,000 when, based on both of your testimony, you have a split schedule. That's what's in the best interest of the children. And that's what's fair.
fair.
That is fair.
That's not fair.
Well, it is fair today. Did you have anything else?
This video reflects my personal opinion and commentary on public issues that have been shared online. The content is for discussion and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. Hey y'all, welcome back to Voice and Value, where we unpack the personal and the political, especially when it comes to family, relationships, and identity in our community. Today I want to talk about how child support laws are biased, in my opinion, and far too often they're used as a weapon against fathers. We're going to talk about how women use child support as revenge after breakups. How the system makes it too easy for some women to trap men into unwanted fatherhood. And what needs to change so fathers actually have rights, not just bills. Let's get into it. Let's talk about how we got here. First, we have to acknowledge that child support laws didn't start off with malicious intent. They were created to make sure that kids didn't suffer financially just because their parents split up. Cool. Necessary. We can all agree to that, right? But here's the problem. Those laws were written during a time when women were almost always the primary caregivers, men were usually the sole breadwinners, and divorce was rare. Well, we all know that's not the world we live in anymore. Today, women are in the workforce. Hell, they're even leading the workforce. And fathers are more involved than ever now. But the laws? They're still stuck in the 70s. And the court system, it's still looking at fathers like walking wallets. I want to talk about something controversial now. And that's baby traps. Yeah, I said it, and we're going there. A baby trap is when a woman gets pregnant on purpose, usually without the man's knowledge or consent, to either hold on to that man, get money from him, or lock in some form of power or control. Is it all women? Of course not. But it does happen. And it's a real thing. Y'all heard of NBA All-Star Weekend, right? That ain't just about basketball anymore. Child, women be flying themselves out knowing exactly when they're ovulating and accidentally getting pregnant by a man that just happens to be a professional basketball player. And why? Because having a child with a high income man guarantees income for at least 18 years. That's right. No more 9 to 5 for her. She'll be moving on up to a deluxe apartment in the sky. Now let's keep it real. If a man was doing that to women, he'd be called a predator. But when women do it, it gets laughed off like, this is part of the game. A lick. Well, it's not a game. It's money-based manipulation and it should be illegal. There should be repercussions for anyone who uses access to money as a form of leverage or control. But you know what the repercussion is? Child support in the form of monthly payments for 18 years, and it continues as a 50-50 split when the child goes off to college. Another issue. Women weaponizing child support after a breakup. All right, let me paint a little picture for y'all. A couple breaks up. Oh, it's messy. She's hurt. Maybe he cheated. Maybe he just moved on. She's pissed. And now the baby becomes a pawn. She files for full custody and maximum child support. Not because he's a deadbeat, not because he's not showing up, but because she wants to punish him. It's not about the child. It's not at all about the child. It's about power. And this is where we get into parental alienation, one of the most toxic outcomes of the whole entire mess. A woman will block the phone calls, ignore texts, hide the child, even move across state lines, all while still collecting child support checks. Meanwhile, the child grows up thinking the father abandoned them. I mean, why wouldn't they think that? Why wouldn't they? The whole time the father was fighting to stay in their life. But they didn't know. They weren't around him. They didn't see him. They didn't hear from him. Thanks, Mom. Now let's talk about what this does to men. Because this ain't just about money to them. It's about fatherhood. It's about dignity. And about a man wanting to be a parent but getting treated like an ATM instead, with no rights. Some men pay thousands of dollars in child support every month and still aren't allowed to see their kids regularly. Ain't that a kick in the head? Others fall behind for a few months, maybe because they lost the job, and boom, their license is suspended. That's making it harder for them to earn income. In some states, you can even go to jail for unpaid child support, even when it wasn't willful neglect. Somebody please tell me how this is helping the child. You've got grown men crying in a car because the courts don't see them as people, just paychecks. Now here's where we shift from ranting to real solutions, because it's easy to complain. But we got to talk about how to fix this. The first thing is joint custody as a default. Unless there's proven abuse or danger, custody should start from a 50-50 standpoint. Both parents should have equal rights to the child. That gives the kid the chance to have both parents involved, not just one with primary custody. Number 2, mandatory paternity testing at birth. Some of y'all won't like this, but I think it's necessary. Too many men are paying child support for kids that turned out to not even be theirs. If we want fairness, let's start with truth. Mandatory testing removes any ambiguity and it protects everyone involved. Number 3, child support reform based on parenting time. Child support should be tied directly to the amount of time each parent spends with the child. If a father is active and involved, his financial obligation should reflect that. Period. Number 4, punishment for proven parental alienation. If a parent is caught intentionally keeping a child away from the other parent, There should be consequences, from fines to custody changes. The system needs to stop rewarding bad behavior. And last but not least, men's family rights advocacy. We need more legal aid, nonprofits, and community support for fathers trying to fight for custody or fair treatment. We have a lot of these resources already available for women. A lot of men don't even know their rights or how to go about enforcing them, and that's not okay. And before anybody tries to twist this, let me be very clear. This video is not about bashing women. This is about creating balance. We know there are deadbeat dads out there, just like there are manipulative mothers, but the system needs to be fair to both, because when it's not, the child suffers. Ain't that who all of this supposed to be for in the first place? So I want to end with this. It's time that we start talking openly about how child support laws can be misused, how some women use motherhood as leverage, and how too many good men are being destroyed by a system that was never designed to protect them. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.